Hello, this is Gary Boyd, the designer of the great micro game. I'm here to show you how to play the game. This hopefully will take about 10 minutes, maybe less. I just want everybody to know the core concepts of the game and how it's played. If you have any questions, details, you can leave messages in the comments, or preferably on the thread on Board Game Geek. I'll post a link to that below. So you have your deck here. You have all these different cards. This one is a good example. We'll start at the top here, and this number, gotta be in screen. This number is your strategic value. The only time that number matters is if this is played as a battleground, and we'll get to that here in a minute. The flag behind it is very important. If this is a British card, so if it's used by the British, they don't for attacks or military intelligence ops, they don't have to worry about the card text. If they want to play it for the card text, they can do so. It's a fairly good card, and the flip side of that is if this card is played by the Russian player, then they have to allow the text to be played. They can be played before or after their turn, but it has to happen. So the top is your military ops. The second one is your intelligence ops. I'm sorry, your diplomatic ops, and the third one is your intelligence ops. This is your chance roll, and it's used for combat, military ops, combat. The first number is the modifier for the attacker, and the second number is the modifier for the defender. So this would be a really good card for the attacker. The only really special card in the game is, unique, is the India card. The India card starts in the possession of the British player, and it is a alternate path to victory for the Russian player to take this battleground. If they ever take this battleground, the game immediately ends and the Russian player is declared the winner. But that's a small part of the game. This is given to the British player. I'm going to place that over there because I like playing the Russians. A bit of an underdog. The game is slightly favoring the British player, but the alternate path to victory hopefully evens that out. So I'm going to deal each of us up to 6 cards. It's always 6 cards to start a round. I'll place the discard right here, and let's have a look at my hand. Okay, so I've got these 2 cards, which have 1/2 of each flag. Those are neutral cards. Those can be played by either side for the event text, and I don't have to worry about the event text triggering against me. This, however, I would have to worry about, and it is the only British card in my hand, so I'm going to play that as a battleground. My opponent, being the Brit he is, has 2 Russian cards. So he's going to look at which one is the most terrible, or which one has the best stats. This is an interesting thing because the Russian player can score a lot of points off of that. This one, the event text is not so bad. The stats are not quite as good, but I don't want the Russian player to be able to use this ability. So I'm going to, my opponent would play that as the battleground. And these get flipped. So normally the highest strategic value would go first. In this case, they're tied. That means that the Russian player goes first. So I have quite military here. These are fairly low score cards. So I am going to play we're going to play Kokand against Lahore. So Lahore's military ops is 3, and Kokand's military ops is 4. So if we were just playing based on military ops alone, then I would win and this card would stay there. But we do a chance roll. And now this adds to my attack nothing, and this adds to their military ops 2 and increases it to 5. So unfortunately, Kokand does not help me and goes into a discard that you can't see. So I'll just place it right there. I think it would be a good idea. So not very good start. My opponent is going to play he's gonna do something interesting. He's gonna play this for the event. Now, when you play an event card, it's always facing your opponent, so your opponent can read the event text. And the event text for this card is play 2 other cards for intelligence operations, then draw up to 2 cards. So I'm going to take 2 of my cards and put them in for intelligence. Intelligence is the opposite of events. It goes into play upside down. So then I get to draw a card, and this effect will trigger. This effect will trigger. I've chosen to wait until after I'm finished before it triggers. Okay, so this is not a good one for me to have. This one, as the opponent, can really screw you up because it makes you discard a card with an attack value of 4 or higher. I only have 2 other cards, so the opponent is not looking good, but he does have 2 intelligent ops cards which can really help. And the following. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and play this and get it out of the way. I'm going to play it for diplomatic ops because really that's the only possible way I'm going to score the opponent will score any points. So the British player must discard a card with military operations of at least 4 or more, remove a card from of at least 4 if they can't remove a card from play. I see. Okay, so I'm going to place India into the discard because it has a military ops of 4, and then it is actually my turn, and everything's coming up roses here. So I could actually, if I went all out attack, I think I could just score both of these. So let's give it a shot. I'm gonna go there. This gives me a boost of 1 to my military ops, and that makes my -6, and there's a 4. So I'm gonna place that there, and my opponent, knowing that they may not be able to score that one with diplomacy, they're going to score this one with diplomacy, or try to score this one with diplomacy, and they're going to use this to increase their diplomacy so that this card can be played on this card. This card has a diplomatic ops of 4, and this card only has a diplomatic ops of 3. Unlike military combat, you don't use a chance card. So in order to make this playable, I'm using this for intelligence to increase it by the intelligence on here, which is 2. So my opponent is now out of cards, which allows me to continue to play. I'm gonna play this here and attempt to score it. And a 5 versus a 5. Attackers always take. So I score the Khanate's Fall, which is 8 points, and my opponent's card goes into the discard. So I would write down my score of 8 points. This one I'm going to attempt to take, and I do succeed because it's a 5 against a 3. And one last attack. I'm going to do a chance, and the defender's at 4, and I'm at 3. So unfortunately, I do not take that battleground. So I had 8 points that round. My opponent has 3 points for placing this for diplomatic ops, because diplomatic ops score at the end of the round. No matter if you take the battleground with diplomatic ops or not, you will always get points for any cards remaining on that battleground. So diplomatic ops of 3, that's 3 points. And they also had 1 intelligence ops card, and that gives 2 points regardless of whatever the intelligence ops number is. So that was a single round of the game. Some tricky situations that you might run into are how to use intelligence cards, because it can get a little confusing. There are 4 different ways to use intelligence cards. If this were a battleground and I played this, but unfortunately my opponent plays, or this is the chance roll, and that makes Peshawar have a military ops of 6 versus my 3. So I go down here and I look and I see that I have Isfahan, and it increases my my stat to 7, and that means that I get to keep that card on the battleground. Now, another way that you could use it is in diplomatic ops to, let's see, increase your diplomatic ops so that you can place a card here. So this only has a diplomatic ops of 2 and the battleground 3. So normally I wouldn't be able to play that, but with the intelligence card I have +2 to whatever number I choose, and it's going to be +2 to diplomatic ops, equaling 4, which is higher than the diplomatic ops of Isfahan. So I would get to place that card there. Another way to use that, I think that this is the last way to use it. If we are scoring at the end of the round, and say I have 5 here, and I have this intelligence card, which has an intelligence ops of 3, then I could play this card as an intelligence ops to increase the diplomatic to score the battleground. So instead of taking the 5 points plus the 2 points for the intelligence ops, I get to take the 8-point battleground. So those are the basics of the game. Like I said, if you have any questions about the game, you can post comments. End game scoring is pretty much it. Whoever has the highest number of victory points wins the game. And that's it for the Great Micro Game. Thank you, and have a great time.